Good evening. I've tried to do this video a few times actually over the past couple of days and failed in many ways. One, looking back at the video and just feeling like it looked shit, and two, I missed quite a lot of stuff. Like twice, once last night, once the night before, and a half-an-hour videos, both of them. So I've wasted quite a lot of my life. Anyway, regardless, a bit of Rockman 7, can't go wrong with that. That's a spanking gorgeous game, that. Very colourful. So, this month's pickups. I have a variety of pickups, a wide array of pickups, and I haven't got them down, you know, because last time I was really organised and I was like, oh, this is all there, and I still missed everything, so I thought, you know what, leave it on the shelves this time. I'll pick them down and I'll just grab them and show them. So it's just going to be very casual, very laid back, because I've been working full time, which means I've obviously got a full-time job now, which is great, but I'm quite highly strung at the moment. I'm kind of losing my sense of humour. Even though I'm working with kids all day, I kind of just fucking. This is the first time I've worked full time in Japan, so I hate working like 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. I'm not that kind of person. I hate it. I really do hate it. Fucking hell. Anyway, moving swiftly on. GameCube pickups. I'm going to start with those because that traditionally that has been my my point of reference for every video. It always starts, sometimes ends with GameCube pickups, but they're always in there, you know, and they've always got to be done. Every single one has to be done. So I've got a bit of a pile. These are just your standard pickups. So SSX on tour. This was 500 yen, and it's got Mario in it, and I haven't got around to playing Mario yet, but I've played this, and I do like SSX games. They're really good. I like Cool Borders games as well, actually. I kind of prefer Cool Borders too. I do, probably because it's more nostalgic. A Crash Bandicoot game. That's complete box, by the way. Crash Bandicoot game, really nice condition. I don't know which one it is. I really don't. Could be 3, could be 2. I think it's 3. But it's really nice condition, complete in box again. 555 yen, something along those lines. Enter the Matrix for the GameCube. Decent enough game. It was alright. I played bits and pieces. You basically have a time limit. You have to escape scenarios in an allotted time. And I didn't play much of it, but it seemed pretty solid. I don't know. Paid 250 yen for it. I've been after it for a while because I love the movie, as most people do. But yeah, box art is pretty cool as well. I mean, it's the standard Matrix theme. So yeah, 250 yen in a book off, which was a pretty good buy. This is Dobutsu no Mori E+. I got this for 250 yen as well, and this is one of those games. It's called Animal Crossing, I believe, in the West, and I think it's fairly popular. I think it's got like, I don't know, RPG elements to it. I think it is an RPG, but I have no idea. Maybe I should watch a video, but maybe I shouldn't. I've got better things to do. Anyway, UFC 2 Tap Out Final Spec. That is a Capcom UFC game. I've not seen it too often. I know there's a few out there, but it's not too common. Nemo, very common. I paid 500 yen for UFC. Nemo, very common. Paid 180 yen for it. Fair bit of shelf wear. Actually, a bit of a scuff on there. So, but easily upgradable that. So I'm not too fussed. I'm not going to cry buckets over that. NBA Lakers courtside. NBA courtside. NBA Lakers. Well, yeah, from courtside 2002. Basketball game. Few sports pickups this month. That was 5 inch gin or 250. Can't remember. Gundam. Complete in box. Gundam. The mobile suits Gundam pilots Locust, not locusts, Locust. Yeah, it's not much of a game, I don't think. The Baseball Stars, or the Baseball 2003. So a nice gold shiny case. It's a sports title. Yeah, great. Okay, there it goes. And the Herbs, which is obviously a Sims game. Yeah, I mean it's 250 yen. Now I knew that I missed these yesterday, so I'm not going to miss these again. I'm going to turn around like Stephen Hawkins. I'm going to get these games down as well. Games out. Oh, that is that game, which I still haven't completed yet. I haven't completed most of these. Probably. I don't want to give away too much there. Might have given away, but. This is the lackadaisical approach I'm going to take to this video because I really had a hard time making this video. I think maybe through tiredness, stress. Stress does funny things to you. It just destroys your brain function, your ability to laugh naturally. You know, it's like it's been pretty tough. I've been doing 2 jobs at the same time, and one, I've been teaching a classroom full of kids that can't speak English at all, and they're really unruly, and they'll just sort of shout. And they're big classes. They're like, today was like 2 classes of 12 kids, 12, and these are like 6 and 7 year olds. And they're just cheeky. They're just giving you cheek in Japanese, and it's very challenging to sort of put them in their place, especially when you have to speak English to them. You know, so it's like you're speaking English. You're this foreigner. You're this strange white guy that's just sort of shouting at them in English, and they're just abusing you in Japanese. It's like it's completely futile. And you get immune to it to a certain extent, but obviously it's very challenging to take it all the time. Like, you're a human being, and just can grind you down a little bit sometimes. Anyway, that's what led me onto this stuff. Oh man. So yeah, I'll play a few games, have a few beers. I said to the wife tonight when I came out, I said, I'm not doing anything tonight. I'm not even going to have a shower. I'll save that for tomorrow morning. I ain't sweated too much. But yeah. Anyway, moving back on to the kind of not premium GameCube pickups, but the GameCube pickups that are kind of like better. They were more expensive anyway. So I guess in a way they're premium. Anyway, Shikigami no Shiro, which is Shikigami's Castle 2. Top-down shooter. Played it a few times now, and I don't think much of it. It comes with a figure inside. There's a figure of the cat. I don't know if it's that collectible or popular nowadays. It's just like a random cat figure. I mean, it don't even look cool. It's just a cat doing that. Yeah, so no, I don't know. I don't know what it's all about. Anyway, not a very good game. I didn't rate it at all. I don't like it. So quite disappointed with that. Shikigami no. I'll pull this one out first because this was the second most. That was the most disappointing. This was the second most disappointing. This is called Chaos Field Expanded. It's a fucking mint condition, and it looks really good, but it's not, and that's the disappointing thing. So yeah, I don't recommend Chaos Field as well. The only people I'd recommend it to are the ones that are hardcore shooter fans or hardcore GameCube collectors, because for me it wasn't really ticking any boxes. Graphics wise, yeah, both those games, Shikigami 2 and Chaos Field, yeah, it does tick those boxes. Kind of like atmosphere wise, they kind of do in a way as well, but just like the execution of both games is poor, and just the appeal is not there. It doesn't pull me in at all. But I played Radigy, generic, and that's a game that I'm willing to give more time actually. This wasn't too bad, and the graphics are really, really, really nice. I really liked the visuals on this, and I thought the gameplay was average or above average, so I thought that it's worth buying actually, this one. But the other two I'd have second thoughts about unless you were hardcore. But yeah, this is alright. I'd recommend this game above those two especially. But obviously nothing beats this one. But I've spoken about this one already. But this is like a fucking masterpiece. Anyway, so that's my GameCube pickups. I made another GameCube pickup, but it wasn't a game. It was one of these. It was a Panasonic GameCube controller. But it also came with a Panasonic GameCube as well. Now, I've always wanted one of these. Like, I've always wanted one of these ever since I was in the UK and I saw one and it had the blue LEDs shining in it. This one, it's got a few scuffs in it and stuff. It was junk. It was sold to me as junk. What I'll do is, I mean, it's hardly worth it. But I took a few photos. I'll put them in the. I'll just drop them in now. But basically, yeah, it sold for 3,000 yen. I bought it for 3,000 yen, so $30 plus postage, 1,500 postage, $45. But it's about $40 actually, which is about 25 quid. So I got this for 25 quid with a controller. It's pretty decent. I mean, beyond decent. But it was sold to me as non-working. The disc tray didn't open, so I had to buy a new fan belt, and I'll link the product code for the fan. It's not a fucking fan belt. It's a disc tray belt. It's a belt that opens the disc tray on two wheels. I will link the product number in, because if anyone can't open their disc tray or whatever. I also cleaned the laser up because I wasn't sure if it was reading discs or anything. It plays GameCube games absolutely fine. It's not outputting DVDs. There's lots of square images on the screen, so there's something wrong with the output. Nothing wrong with the cable and the output jacks, because if it's outputting GameCube games, then it's fine. That cable and the jacks are fine. The sockets are fine. There must be a problem with the circuit board, something connected to the DVD, something on the output side, outputting the visual signal. So I don't know what it is, but anyway, it plays GameCube games. All the LEDs show up. To be honest, it's like a glorified GameCube now. If it doesn't play the DVDs, it's kind of disappointing, because it doesn't do anything different except for look really flash, you know. And whilst I like the look of it, and that's the main reason, really, the main appeal, the main draw. I'd still rather it play multi-region DVDs, because it'd be nice to buy some. I don't actually have any DVDs, and DVDs in Japan are horrifically priced. Like, they're really, really expensive. There's no such thing as like £1 DVDs here. You won't find them, or $1 DVDs. They just don't exist. There's nothing like that here. You go to shops there, the minimum price is $5, which is about £3, 500 yen, maybe just a little bit below £3, but that's like your bulk standard bottom price as far as I've seen. And my little boy's got DVDs like Thomas the Tank Engine DVD, and you should see the price. I bought these in recycling shops for like 300 or 400 yen. So yeah, recycling shops probably best way to go. But the RRP sometimes like $30 for one Thomas the Tank Engine DVD or something like that. The Disney DVDs are about more than $25. They're really expensive, brand new and second hand here. The second hand market holds itself very well here. They actually sell lots of CDs still in this country, and lots of books still. People really appreciate the physical copies of audio and books and stuff still in this country. So I'm glad that's the case, because I do really appreciate the physical copies of everything myself as well. For me, the physical copy is why I collect. You know, it's not just about the game. Otherwise, I'd just play emulators all day. You know. So anyway, what's next? Oh yeah, my Super Famicom, which I've got some really nice games this month. They're not in great condition. They're not in great condition at all. But that doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, obviously I'd love to have them mint, but I'm not minted, so I cannot afford to buy them mint. I've just bought what I could get my hands on, and let's have a little look anyway. Hopefully nobody saw any of those. Let's start with the first one. Jelly Boy. I don't know if it's supposed to be Jelly Boy and it's given that Japanese mispronunciation or the inability to say L's. But this is Jelly Boy, which I'm sure lots of people know what it is. It's a platformer with a little slime dude. Not played it yet, but I know it's reasonably well sought after. Very colourful box art, pretty cool. So happy to have that in the collection, 100%. It's complete, looks in decent shape. So yeah, can't go wrong. Alright, here we go. Next one. Okay, what do we have? We have Parodius. Parodius, I don't know what it's called, but it's called Ojaberi, but I can't read the kanji. It might, is that the Jitsukyo? No, I don't know. Jitsukyo Ojaberi. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, there are lots of different character choices, side-scrolling shooter. I'm sure most people know what Parodius is by now anyway. But this is quite sun-faded, not in the best condition, couple of knocks. Actually no manual, but the cartridge is in really excellent condition, and it's a good game, so just happy to have that. Okay, someone just told me that their wisdom tooth, their wisdom tooth just fell out. Alright, thank you for that. Here we go. Poppin Twinbee. Now, Poppin Twinbee, obviously, this is a top-down shooter from Konami. Everyone knows what Poppin Twinbee is. If you don't, then you're probably mad. But it's a really fun, really well-made shooter. It's not like amazing, but it is very good. It's a very good game, Poppin Twinbee, and very popular. Now, I got this for 1,000 yen. I got Parodius for 2,000 yen, which not cheap. I mean, not like £1 or whatever, like $1, but still reasonable prices for very good games. I also got, this was in the larger lot, I don't know how much I paid for it overall. On balance, probably paid about 2,000 or 3,000 yen. Hopefully on the lower end of that, 2,000. But Magic Sword, Capcom. It's graphically, it's not like very well polished. Gameplay wise, it's got some really nice little quirky parts to the game. You can have a companion that comes with you, a different companion at times. It's not always the same. So it's really quite interesting. It grabs your attention. I mean, like, you know, what can I compare it to? It's not the correct comparison because this is a platformer, but I'm comparing it to Golden Axe. Like, graphically, it's not like amazing, but there's something about the magic of the game that draws you in. And that's the same with this game. And I know it's called Magic Sword, and I've just used the word magic, but it's not an intended pun, and it's not even a funny pun. I got rudely interrupted by my little boy, needed to go for a poo. I'm sure you all needed to know that. So, I was knee deep in the Super Famicom pickup, so I'm going to continue with those. Finished with Magic Sword. So next, this was part of a two game lot that I bought from Yahoo Auctions. An ActRaiser's 2. This is really looks like a really pretty side-scrolling platformer. I can't see much of it, and I've not played it. So because I got these literally 2 nights ago. And I've been investing my time in the other one that came with this lot, which you're going to see next. And this one kind of fell by the wayside for now. But I'll definitely give this one a whirl. I know it's quite highly rated, and some people love it. So I have to give it a bash. Enix game. It's going to be half decent on that basis. You'd expect most of the time. But yeah, some box art on the back as well. Some, I don't know. They're nice little screens. It looks really quite graphically quite nice, actually. Anyway, next one. This was really nice. I was so happy to get this, and this came with ActRaisers 2. I got them both for 6,500 yen plus 400 yen, 500 yen postage, something like that. So about 70, it's not $70, 7,000 yen, which is about 63, 64, $65, something like that, which translates into about 40 odd quid, which is still a hefty amount of money for from my perspective, for video games, for old video games. But I think you'll agree when you see it that it's well worth it. Anyway, that is Knights of the Round. Obviously, side-scrolling 2D beat 'em up. That's reasonably tough. Not tough to play, not tough to master at all. But the enemies, when they hit you, they take off a hefty chunk of your life bar, and that really annoys me. I'm sure there's some sort of art to not getting hit, but I haven't sussed that yet. But I've been playing it normal anyway. I might stick it down to easy if like a buddy comes around, unless I've mastered it and I can just say hey, but he'll probably use all the continues if the contingents share. But if a buddy comes around and play 2-player, probably just jack it down to easy anyway, because I'd rather get through the game and have fun than be pulling my hair out and pressing continue all the time. So the options there to go again. I don't want to go into the detail, the condition of the boxes. It's not great. It's not as perfect as I'd want it to be. It's not squashed at all. It's just a little bit warped, this part, and there's a couple of creases. But it's all complete in box. The cartridge is out because I've been playing it a lot. So it's a really solid game. It's a 2D fighter, and you know, they are what they are. They're very limited. They're obviously not gonna offer you much more than slashing and hitting. Especially, this is his final fight with swords. Basically, that's what it is, and an axe. It's nothing more than that, really. But you know what you're getting when you're buying it, obviously. And I never played it before, never dared play an emulator of it. The only games I really emulated were the RPGs that hadn't been, or that were fan translated. I won't buy a reproduction. You know, that I was tempted, very tempted to buy the Secret of Mana English translation, because it was like 2-player RPG. It sounded so awesome, and the reproductions look really nice. But you know, why should I pay some random bloke that's good at just pulling a ROM off the internet and making it look really nice? You know, you're paying him for the way it looks. You're not paying him for the ROM. You're not paying him for the hard work that went into making that game. Really, you could just play the fan translation online. Just do that. But that's what I'd recommend. Reproductions of existing ROMs, I don't like that. I don't like that practice, really. There's a market for it, obviously, but I just think that if they're there as ROMs, play them. That's the best way to play the games, in my opinion. If you're buying some reproduction, I don't know. That's going to split decision, that sort of comment, you know. But it's kind of like, I understand why, but I just wouldn't buy repros. I'd buy like a new game that the developers have made from scratch for an old system, because that makes a lot of sense to me. You know, you're paying for somebody's hard work, whereas this one you're just paying for a fancy label, fancy box for a ROM that already exists. That kind of does bug me very, very much. So anyway, this is a pickups video. So moving swiftly on. The last of my Super Famicom pickups, and then I found when I switched the camera off and I changed to Sega Densetsu 2, of course, because the music's just amazing, and that title screen is also very beautiful as well, especially if you squint your eyes and just ignore the polygons. But the flamingos look amazing. Fucking flamingos, look at them flying by. What a night this is. Yeah, so the last one, this was the main reason. No, this is going to be hard to swerve. Main reason I bought this lot at the beginning of the month. It was a big lot, and this game was in it. So was Magic Sword. So was a few other games which I've taken out of the video because it was just going overboard. But this game, Hudson Soft, very well sought after in America and Japan, wasn't PAL released. Box is in not good condition at all. Cartridge is tiny, slightly bit yellow, which does annoy me, but I can replace the cartridge. I'd like to replace the box as well, but anyway, we'll get onto it anyway. The game is Hedonic, and this game I got about 2 weeks ago, and I've got to level 3 so far, and I've put a lot of time into getting to level 3 as well. It is a rock hard game. The difference between this, I'd say, and something like it's a platformer, right? So you're talking about a difficulty curve or a learning curve. It's much easier to master a platformer than it is something like Ikaruga. So Ikaruga's got a really tough learning curve, impossible to a certain extent. It's mentally crazily hard, but it doesn't give you the time of day to not make a mistake. A platformer you can stop, and Ikaruga you've got a scrolling screen, so you can't stop. You can never stop. So you end up inevitably making silly mistakes. Here, you can sort of pause for thought. There's some scrolling screens. There's a scrolling screen on the first world, if you like, level 1-3, I think it is, and you've got to jump platforms and jump over holes, and it's just memorization. So it's nothing like too crazy. And it's quite an old game as well. Ikaruga was about what was it? 2 generations later, Dreamcast. So it would have been Super Nintendo, N64, and then the next one, GameCube. Dreamcast was out similar time, was it? think, or just before both the GameCube and the PS2, the Dreamcast would have been out, and that was a Dreamcast game originally, obviously. Yeah, obviously wrong to compare them as games, but just the difficulty curve, because difficult games, they tend to be more enjoyable in the long run, because once you get used to it, you're like, wow, I'm doing it. If the quality's there. If the quality's not there, you're just gonna bin it, obviously, because you'll be like, what a piece of shit, I can't get past the first level, and the game's crap, so what's the point, you know? So what is the point? Just put your head in a fucking toaster. But this is top quality. It's really a fantastic game, and I'd easily recommend it. Even at $200, which probably about 100 quid, maybe 120 quid, I'd say it was worth it, to be honest. This game is really, really, really good. Rock hard, but just amazing music and everything. Obviously the Super Famicom version is probably your best bet, because the American one's about 6 times the price or 5 times the price. This one's got like a bit of few knocks in that, and this, which really is annoying, but it's got the manual. Cartridges over there because I've been playing it. But it's got the manual and it's all fine. So I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, obviously, if I can find a cheap replacement, I'd replace it. But it's going to be hard to find a cheap replacement. But this game is top banana. It really is, and I love saying top banana. But this is a top game. Very nice indeed. So well happy with that. The final few pickups, because these were just the odds and ends, and I really don't want to miss them from and drag them another month away, because it's just gonna pile up. Zelda, it's one of the seasons games. I don't know which one it is. Probably autumn, isn't it? Or fall. Oracle of Seasons, I believe it was called. Game Boy Color. I've got the Game Boy Player, obviously, on the GameCube. So these are fairly basic games, so should be able to give these a whirl. So really happy to have it boxed. Obviously a bit battered, but yeah, a boxed Game Boy Color game. Not too big into my Game Boy personally, but still nice to have. Couple of Rockman games that I picked up for 2,200 yen. The Zelda game was about 200 yen, by the way. These were 2,200, but I've got Rockman 1 and Rockman 2. Two of my favourite Rockman games. Obviously, Rockman 7 is one of my favourite Rockman games. I do like the X series. But I prefer the traditional series myself. I like the wall clinging aspect from the X series, but just for traditional sort of gaming wise and nostalgia, I just like the original games. They just appeal to me more, and 1 and 2 are 2 of my favourite games. 1, 2 and 7 probably are my 3 top Mega Man games or Rockman games. 3 to 4, 5 and 6 on the NES or the Famicom or American NES. Obviously we only got up to 4 in the UK, but on the American NES, I mean 3 to 6, they're not really my cup of tea too much. They're good games for what they are. They're good games, but they're fucking rock hard anyway, so that's probably why I don't like them. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Next one, quirky little number, Beavis and Butthead for the PS1. I don't think it was released anywhere else but Japan, and it's a point-and-click adventure with lots of comedy, but it's all in Japanese. I mean, it's really weird. Why is it all in Japanese? I'm absolutely positive there must be a ROM of this game somewhere with the original English version. Because why would it be made in Japanese exclusively? It must have been English only, and then for some reason it only got released in Japan. But surely it's an American conceived cartoon, if you like. It's not really a cartoon, is it? Illustrated comedy, adult comedy series, and it's an MTV production. And what the hell was it only released in Japan for? Am I missing something? Am I missing something here? I know it's 1995, which is when the PlayStation was released, at least in the West, I believe. Released a bit earlier in Japan, 9 months earlier. So maybe this was pre-Western PlayStation release date, if you know what I mean. So maybe it came out before the PlayStation was even released in the West, and that might be part of the reason for it. Maybe they rushed this out. I really don't know, but it's all in Japanese, hard to understand, hard to navigate, but really wanted to own this game, so I got it for 850 yen, so about £5. I picked these up. This is just going to be a bit of fun for me, and if anybody comes round. But Virtua Cop 2, a couple of guns. You can't go wrong with shooters, can you? So you're never going to get bored of them. So a bit of fun. I've got 2 Dreamcast light guns, but my House of the Dead 2 discs battered, so a bit peed off about that. So I invested in a couple of these, so that's all right. Last but not least is my first real. I bought a Sega Mega Drive game here once before, but from I didn't keep hold of it because it was had no manual, and I don't have a Mega Drive. Trying to avoid collecting for it. Although I loved it, I had it as a kid. I bought a Mega Drive before I owned a SNES when I was a kid. So it's one of those consoles that I would be inclined to collect for, especially if I had the physical console. So anyway, I picked this up for 1,200 yen, and I saw it there, and there's not many Mega Drive games are hard to come by in Japan, believe me. They're not easy to come by. There's much far fewer than Super Famicom and Famicom, for example, because they only sold like 4 million odd Mega Drives here in Japan, compared to over 20 million, 5 times more, five or 6 times more almost, Super Famicoms. So you can see why. But you know, they are in hard cases. Maybe they should survive a lot of the games, but you know. There's just not that many. Anyway, to cut a long story short, the game is, fucking hell, that took a while, didn't it? The game is Tatsujin, which is Truxton, obviously in the West, or at least in the UK it was. Yeah, 2D top-down shooter. I think everyone, I mean, I know Retro Survival, I think that's the bloke's name. He'd bought the same game, and I commented on this video because I picked it up like a week before. And also Cojones de Leros picked up Radigy as well, and I picked it up at the same time, and they're in both their videos, so a bit of a coincidence there. But that is my last pickup, and that's the end of the video. And do you know what? I finally got through it, and I think this is probably worth uploading this time, because the other ones were fucking bollocks. And not that this is amazing, or I'm like showcasing any charisma or actual humour, but it's much better than it was, believe me. And there were some tragic videos anyway. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll hear from you again soon. Take care.